Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Think Clinical podcast. My name is Hamza. It's always great to be here. I love sharing these moments with you and walking through very, very important concepts that really help us as healthcare entrepreneurs and especially as doctorpreneurs to be able to navigate this very dynamic industry in the healthcare business entrepreneurship space. Today we'll be talking about a very, very important concept, a concept that I have struggled with for a while since I started blending my clinical experience with my clinical experience, trying to run a business in a space where I have to think as a doctor and I have to also think as a business person. How and where do I find that common sweet spot where these two concepts and these very essential knowledge pools can actually coexist? This has been a challenge that I've faced for a while, and it's very clear when you have to navigate these to be able to make certain important decisions, especially decisions that by virtue of your clinical training you feel is not appropriate, even though it will be advantageous from a business standpoint. And I think these concepts became very clear to me when I read the book The Unreasonable Hospitality, which really talked about very similar concepts, but it actually opened my mind to how we should be thinking about these things. Now, what the topic we'll be talking about today is how to differentiate between being corporate smart and being clinically smart, and where these two concepts can coexist to actually make you the best version of yourself as a healthcare entrepreneur, as a doctorpreneur, as someone who has spent most of their lives training and focusing on patient care and excellent services and clinical outcomes. How do you blend these with some of the requirements and what sometimes needs to be done in the business space, especially when you run your own business? Now let's look at these concepts. What do we mean when we say corporate smart? When anybody who is able to get into a space where they can develop their business acumen, and this comes in the way of being more strategically inclined, more strategic thinking, looking at more of your financial knowledge and your financial expertise, how you can see your company's financial health and interpret what you see and how you can apply that in the long term to be able to become more profitable. If you're able to follow these numbers and you're able to understand where your business is financially, strategically at every single point, that is the whole concept of being corporate smart, looking at how you can keep your business healthy and running. Now we have the other side of this, which is being clinically smart. And being clinically smart are issues or things that we have grown as clinicians to appreciate because we have trained in this for 6 or more years. And it becomes very, very, very important when we have to sometimes go against some of the things we believe clinically that would improve patient outcome, but that will be detrimental to your business. So a good understanding of where these two actually meet and where you can actually make these two concepts work is what is important. Now let's look at this. Now in a context where you have a business, you're running, let's say, a hospital business, there are things that you need to pay attention to, and I'm just going to talk about this in the context of, let's say, resources, in the context of your supplies, your medical supplies, what you need to run your day-to-day and take care of patients. There is a natural tendency that from a clinical standpoint, you will want to pay attention to making sure that you have every single thing that you need in quantities that you know you would probably never run out of, so that anytime there's an emergency or a need to use that particular item, you have it available. You also have the ability to add on more things just because clinically they would help you with your outcomes. The big question there now and that's being clinically smart, that is you making sure that by virtue of your clinical training, you have everything that you need to be able to get your work done on a day-to-day basis. You have everything you need to be able to ensure that patient outcomes are on point. You have everything you need to make sure that you are not surprised by anything or any situation that you are not prepared for. Now, this comes at a cost, so it's going to be a whole conversation of how expensive this is, and getting these in your storage and probably never using them for a very long time, and these being cost items that you probably would never be able to get any return on. The other side of this is also how efficient you use these resources. So if you have these medical supplies, how efficiently are you using them? Do you just keep pulling out, let's say, gloves for everything that you need to do without thinking about how much or how the usage is like? Are we being very efficient in how we use this equipment or these supplies? These are some of the things from a clinical standpoint you wouldn't bother asking yourself, because it is clear that you have everything you need to work with. And that's being clinically smart. That is you focusing on patient outcomes. That is you making sure that no situation surprises you. That is you preparing yourself and putting your hospital or your business in a position where they are always ready to deliver. Where is the trade-off? If you have cheaper medical supplies of a similar quality to a more expensive alternative that you are used to, are you willing to compromise on that and say, okay, these are two items that are of the same quality, but I can save cost if I use this other item? Where do you stand with all those different things? Because that will determine exactly where your mindset is as far as blending these two concepts. Now, a business smart or a corporate smart person would also be looking at the business from these gloves that we use. Do we have cheaper options? This equipment that we are buying, is that cheaper options that are of the same quality? These our usage of these supplies, are we using them more efficiently? Are we just running through them without being conscious about our usage patterns? Could we have saved costs somewhere? Are we buying and storing items that we may never use, but they are expensive to the hospital as far as operations is concerned? Are we stocking drugs that we will never use, but they are just serving as a cost point to the hospital? This is how a corporate smart person would think. So everything that the corporate smart person thinks is geared towards the health of the hospital, not the health of the patient. A lot of the time you will hear big corporations and big institutions talking about how they care about patients, but to be honest, and the reality of it is that the bottom line is the most important thing at this point. Now, as a doctorpreneur, you find yourself in a very unique situation where you are now torn between these two very important areas. You have gone to school for so many years to become a medical or a clinician. That training has positioned you to think in a certain way as far as what you do is concerned. Now you have also made a decision to become a business person, and that field requires you to make decisions in a different way. A lot of the time those two decisions may conflict. Just like I said, if you have a situation where you have an option of using a cheaper version of gloves, is this something you're going to, a cheaper version but of the same quality, is this something you're willing to compromise? Or you will stick to the brand that you've been using for so long that has proven to give you outcomes with your patients and has made you very confident as a clinician to deliver care. Are you going to stick to it because that is, let's say, your lucky charm, that is the quality of product that you are used to, or the brand of product that has actually given you the confidence to perform as a clinician? Is it a brand of product that has given you the confidence to believe that that is the only way you can provide quality care to your patient? Are you willing to look into those options? Your usage. Are you willing to pay more attention to how you use these medical supplies? If there's a desire to buy an equipment that would help you offer more advanced healthcare options, are you willing to sit back and think about the return on that investment? Are you willing to sit back and think long term? Okay, this will be good for the practice and the kind of services we want to offer, but how long would it take us, because we are going to use money to buy this? How long will it take us to get our money back out of it so that we can invest in other things? So this is the balance you have to have, and a big part of this balance is you have to be able to think very practically. You have to be able to think both as a clinician and as a business person or a corporate person, and that is where you need to really look closely at where being business smart and corporate smart, where they meet at some point. So how do you get into that space where you now can confidently explore the skills as a clinician whilst also thinking about the business aspect of what you're running, making sure that you're sustainable, making sure you're efficient, making sure you're still getting the same effective results whilst keeping your business and the financial health of your business alive? So you're going to be looking at two things. You're going to be looking at clinical smart, where your focus is on patient care and delivering just the best quality of care. You're going to be looking at corporate smart, where your focus is on keeping your business healthy, your hospital healthy. So you are in both situations, you're trying to keep an entity healthy. The question is, how do you blend those two such that you can think beyond and understand that keeping your hospital business, for instance, healthy, keeps your doors open, keeps your business ongoing, and gives patients the opportunity to have continuous health care without you running out of business? Think about it that way. The other way you need to think about it is that if being clinically smart is what would give patients confidence to keep walking through your door, do you want to keep giving that quality of service to the patient to help them understand that you are the best at what you do, and keep people walking into the door and making word of mouth referrals and bringing more people through your door, and that also translating into your business? So the way to think about this is to understand how one feeds into another. How does providing quality patient care and patient experience feed into the financial health of your business? And how does the financial health of your business and keeping it open and keeping it healthy and keeping it going also help you to be able to offer quality patient care? The moment you start thinking about these two as one unit, you are able to make the decision a lot of the time that will benefit both entities, both the health of the hospital financially or your business, and the health of the patient, which is where your clinical focus is. And one of the ways to do this is we go to medical school to train as clinicians, and we spend a lot of time doing that. But can we say the same for how much time we spend developing the business aspect of our knowledge? Do we dedicate that time to go to school and learn about those things? If the answer is no, then this is something that we need to look at. The second thing is that we also need to be very sure that whenever we make that commitment of being business people, of being entrepreneurs, we have inadvertently said that we also want to be people who want to be financially successful somehow. Now, when you have those two different things, It means you've created a new reality for yourself where you are not only focused on patient care now, but you are also focused on your financial health or the financial health of your business. So in that case, continuous learning is something that you need to pay attention to. If you spent 6+ years on your medical education to become a medical doctor, you have to make that commitment to spend some time learning about the business side of whatever you're going to do. Whether you're going back to school to do an MBA, whether you're going to have a mentor who would walk you through the realities of running a business, however you decide to learn these things, you have to make the commitment to learn the corporate side of things, and that's the only time you'll be able to play the two ends very well. The second thing is strategic partnership. So as I said, we go to medical school to learn mostly about the clinical aspect of medicine, but we do not pay attention to the other side of medicine that could be that's keeping the business running and keeping it open. Now, if you are not in a position or you do not wish to pursue more knowledge or more education in the corporate financial business aspect of your practice, you will have to, and that is not even may, you will have to find partners or some people who have knowledge in keeping the hospital business healthy so that you can focus on clinical care. And in which case, a lot of people partner with corporate institutions. They bring friends who have different skill sets into the space. They bring family members who have different skill sets into the space. However you decide to go through this, you need to get someone who will complement your skill in that space. Which means that if you want to focus on clinical items, you have this person who is going to help you focus on the business aspect, and then keep that communication open where both of you are able to collaborate to make decisions that are both healthy and essential for the patients, as well as very healthy and essential for the business. In this case, you are able to get out with it. The last way you can actually think about this, and this might not be the last, you may have other suggestions, but the last thing that you can do is to just embrace technology. There are a lot of technological tools out there that can help you, even the knowledge that can help you keep track of how your business is doing and how you are doing in different things. How are your expenses going? How is your patient flow? Are you seeing more patients that you're supposed to be seeing? Are people getting the experience they want? Are you charging the right amounts for the procedures that you do? Are you getting properly reimbursed by insurance? Are you racking up your accounts receivables? How is your business running? How is the health of your business? If you can find technology that will help you track some of these things, and they are available, they are really available in the space, you should be able to keep track of this. So in the context of all that we've spoken about, the take home, and in my opinion in all this, is that the moment you decide as a doctor to become a business person, you have decided to adopt this personality that requires you to think like a business person and a clinician. You need to think about everything that makes you provide the best patient experience and the best quality of care to patients, whilst at the same time thinking about ways that you can also keep your hospital business healthy, keep it going, and keep your doors open for as long as you need to, whilst improving the health of everybody that's around you. And that's the only way you can go about it. And as I said, you can do this either by personally pursuing the knowledge, getting someone who can fill that knowledge gap, or getting people who can fill that knowledge gap for you, or just embracing technology, exploring technological options that you can use to be able to help you break this gap. This has been another episode of the Think Clinical podcast. It's always amazing to be here and spend time with you. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. We are always happy to engage and talk with you. If you have any suggestions, any inputs on what we've spoken about, please leave this in the comment section and I'll be happy to engage with you at some point. Do have a good one, and I will see you in our next episodes.